Everybody, come on in, welcome in. This is Chevy Cool Lady. I'm so glad you're joining me today. We are talking about the Micah Francis case. We are talking about my original notes, and I'm sharing with you my thoughts on the fisherman. My thoughts haven't changed from the beginning. And if you're like me, you still have questions, you just want to rehash, remember, and stand up and say, Justice for Micah, this is a place you're welcome. We support all survivors here, survivors of domestic abuse, survivors of narcissistic behavior and narcissistic spirits. We salute all who stand up for righteousness and justice. And we're saying here today, justice for Micah. We're remembering that she has been gone almost a year now, and we still haven't seen charges come against the very person that we believe led her. It's hard to say, but let's just say responsible for Micah's untimely death. Our hearts go out to all survivors of religious abuse, especially those from Solid Rock community. Don't give up on God because of an ungodly pastor. We are going to just keep on spreading the word until we see justice. So if you're joining with me, come on in, grab your coffee. We're going to do live today. We're talking about the fisherman Johnny Jacobs. We're leaving his actual unfortunate passing last month. We're going to leave that be. May he rest in peace. No charges were also brought against him either, may I say. We're just going over the original notes, discrepancies in the stories. I would like to hear your thoughts, so grab your coffee, a little snack or a bevy, and come on in. I'm so glad to have you here today. Just for a brief moment, we're going to rehash the timeline, okay, and then we'll go right into the notes. So bear with me as I attempt this feat of technology here. We're going into my little other screen here, and let me know if you can't hear.
4:23 p.m. Kayaker in the area calls 911 to report a body in the water. A perimeter is created to secure the area for an investigation. Within the hour, the chief of detectives arrives and the medical examiner is called. 5:54 p.m. Crime scene investigation technician begins taking photos of the area, and they found Micah's car. Inside the car, investigators found a gun case in the passenger seat and ammunition in the center console. The receipt for the weapon and her gas station stop were found. 7:11 p.m. A gun is discovered in the water at the park. Its serial number matches the case found in Micah's car. Tuesday, May 2nd, 2024. John Paul Miller sits down with WPDE for an interview. During the interview, he mentioned some of the struggles he thought Micah had with mental health.
So over the years since we've been married, some people struggle with high blood pressure, some struggle with diabetes, or struggle with mental health. And whenever she stayed under lithium,
as we know, he has maintained throughout every interview, every solicitation or unsolicited opinion that he's given, he's put out the same narrative, as unsubstantiated as it may be, that Micah had just drastic mental health issues, that she needed this lithium. He harped on lithium more than the conspiracy theorists did on the Helene flooding in North Carolina. He should have stock in lithium. He promotes it so much. But we're going to go ahead and go back right just for a brief moment. I want y'all to just catch this part. So please stay with me. There he is, looking ugly.
She'd come off sometimes, and things would be a little unusual. Per her doctors, they told her even just recently, they had written that she was homicidal, suicidal, and she had struggled with suicide before. And each time you helped her through it, took her to her doctor, and we got through it, and everything was fine. So this past time was still a shock, an incredible shock.
Sunday, May 5th, 2024. Friends and family rally outside Solid Rock Church. Some in Micah's family dispute the manner of death described by her estranged husband.
This has to be at least looked into deeply. There's got to be some accountability here.
And so far, my people, we have not seen the kind of accountability that we want to see in this case. So until then, we're just going to keep going over the facts that we know, our theories that we think. Like we always say, no one has been accused of a crime. However, we are not attorneys or under any obligation to not form an opinion. We have every right to form an opinion. So I'm going to be keeping this part of it short. I'll be coming back later on. Let's go over a few of these notes, though. Here we go. All right. So what we have here, basically, bullet points at as in respect to Johnny Jacobs. We see that he claims at 11:30 a.m. he went fishing. He came and said at 4 p.m. he stopped at the slough. It was broad daylight, and he heard a faint cry lasting 2 to 3 minutes. He heard a discharge. The crying stopped. He saw a couple coming in from the slough in a boat because they heard a shot. So he claimed. They exchanged words, told a story about hearing crying, then a shot, then it stopped. His story, basically, that part of it was repeated relentlessly. Johnny sees a hole at the end of the lake, that was the slough, and approaches it and sees Micah's belonging. Maybe y'all saw pictures of this. It was very hard to see. How he saw her belongings there, I never have really figured out. Maybe y'all have some thoughts on that part of it. Put that in the comment for me, will ya, please? Thank you for joining me. Outside, he said, outside her purse was cell phone and glasses. He picked them up. He looked around. He saw nothing left in a boat. Loaded the boat, and 6 foot out, saw the laws. He asked them, this is in one interview, okay? This is how his outline originally went in one particular interview. Later on, we learned a whole lot more. But this is, like I said, from my original notes. So the officer responded, how do you know Micah Miller? And he told the story of crying that was faint and stopped. So this particular interview kind of skimmed over a lot of information that was revealed later on. We found out that he had, like he's maintained or maintained throughout the whole thing, that he heard what he called faint crying. At one time he said a faint shot, which is important in respect to the caliber of the gun. He said basically that the crying stopped, and he said, oh my God, don't tell me something's happened. And he was he proceeded over to where Micah's belongings were in the unauthorized zone, employees only. Basically, her family said was an area that you had to go through muck and mud and fallen timbers and whatnot. Not an easy accessible place. And in fact, it probably is actually easier to get to it from boat, which is another one of those big question marks many of us has had on this. Now, we're going to pick up again in about 2 hours at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to go over some further notes with you. We'll go over some more of the discrepancies, and I do want to hear your opinions. Now, some other parts of this before we close out was, let me go ahead and turn this so we can look at it together. Okay, so Johnny saw the hole at the end of the lake and approached, and which the hole was a path basically on the riverbank of the Lumber River. He saw her belongings In this particular, he said a purse, but at another point he said what the ladies call a fanny pack. We saw Micah with her purse with a little lock on it. I believe it was a purse. Was it? Let me know if you think it was a purse or a fanny pack that we saw her in the ring, uh, thingy video. Okay, do you remember that, guys? So anyway, all right, so he picked up a purse, cell phone, glasses. Then later on, we're going to find out that, he goes over, a lot happened. Okay, so what I was going to say was, okay, so he said, basically that the law said, okay, Allie Lindsay, thank you for joining me, sweetheart. I read in a comment last month from someone in a thread. It was asked if it was possible JJ wasn't really there, but he asked if he wanted to make a little money and met him somewhere. I think Johnny Jacobs was absolutely there. Now the involvement in Micah's passing away is what's questionable. He apparently he goes or used to go fishing there all the time. He had a couple boats. He said he was in his small boat, so that leads me to believe he had another boat. This boat, I think he mentioned the size for a particular reason, maybe because only he could fit in it. I don't know, just a thought. He said that he'd been fishing, was heading into the slough, heard the faint cry, heard the shot, said, oh my God, don't tell me. Went over that direction to the hole, which was the path on the bank, saw her belongings there, got him out. Now, what it turned out, did was he picked those items up. He went to the gas station. He for apparently a lighter. This is what he said. He couldn't remember which gas station and why we never saw any kind of video about either one of those places where it could have been. I don't know. Is there a video out there? I haven't seen it. Have y'all seen it? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so he went and he changed his vehicle. He came back and pulled behind an unmarked cop truck. He only knew that it was a truck he only knew it was law because he saw the dude with the drone and he saw the sheriff's logo on the drone. So he said he went to him and said, do you know Micah Miller? And that caused him to be alarmed because, of course, they just found Micah Miller or were looking for her, I guess, at that point. He said, well, how do you know her? And he was, hold on. He dumped the contents of Micah's purse, fanny, backpack, whatever, on the trunk or the front of the truck. There was a small Bible, credit cards, some other personal items, sunglasses, whatever. Okay, so Allie's saying, instructed to drop purse off at park. He opened the purse and saw her name and took her purse to law enforcement. He definitely seemed to struggle with guilt of wanting to tell what he knew. Yeah, we saw that. Those of us who've seen the interviews from the beginning picked up immediately what at first seemed to be a basic story. The story grew and it had a whole lot of twists and turns. I think nobody really got over the fact that here he had heard, by his own admission, a gunshot, then found belongings, didn't see the body. In fact, there's one story I heard. There were two people in the kayak. There was another. He was sure there was three. Were there two kayaks, guys? One, he said, had two gentlemen and a kid. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, what do y'all think about that one? The battery on my phone is about to go dead, and I don't want to leave you all hanging. But we have more questions, comments, and I want to hear more of your ideas. So join me at 5 for live as we continue the original opinions and assumptions on the fisherman's story. No disrespect, just going over the original notes and my original opinions on it. And, you know, y'all be blessed. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate you.